Landfall between Houston and Corpus Christi on Tuesday. This thing is set to wreak havoc over the next couple of days, and I'm not kidding.
Across Texas and Oklahoma, there's potentially deadly flooding, okay, because it's going to rain so hard in small areas. So if you live in those flood-prone areas, we've had a lot of rain already this year. Seriously, just be on the lookout. Make sure your relatives, anybody down in that area, know that the heavy rain's coming if they're in a flood-prone area.
Yesterday, for example, at Midway Airport in Chicago, half an inch of rain in 4 minutes. That's like getting a 5-inch snowstorm in just 5 minutes' time.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome to Asteroid Challenge Fight Club. I'm your host, Thor. Don't worry, we will get to the science next. Let's continue. Stay cool. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents...
The main problem is going to be rain and flooding, areas that have already been hit by big rain, big flooding at times over the last month. Houston's one of those spots, already getting some rain on Monday, and it's going to be even heavier on Tuesday.
The wind speeds have increased to about 60 miles an hour near the center of circulation with this.
Now, I mentioned there's going to be wind in this storm, okay? That's going to cause things like coastal flooding, Louisiana coast, East Texas coast, rip currents, very dangerous stuff as well, almost the entire Gulf Coast. But rain, by and large, is the #1 problem. And these are areas that have dealt with huge flooding, East Texas, eastern Oklahoma. Luckily, people are taking it seriously.
It is going to bring a swath of some very heavy rain. And, of course, soils are saturated. The past month here, we have seen excessive amounts of rain. So once you add in another 6 to 10 inches of rain, that by itself a problem, but on saturated soils, that's going to lead to flooding here from Texas on up to parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas and southern Missouri.
This storm is going to produce heavy rains, and especially at nighttime, tropical features like the pulse, because they're warm core type systems. When they pulse up at night, they can produce a flash flooding, and that's kind of the worst time because people are asleep and they don't realize it's flooding outside, and things happen.
And now, last night, where I coined this a Frankenstein tropical storm, Bill Nye, science was like, "You were wrong. This is just the brown ocean effect."
Brown ocean effect, and that's when you have a system that actually strengthens over land due to the moisture content, because this goes against all conventional thinking.
And I was like, whatever, dickweed.
But I want to emphasize that we're concerned about it because it just adds to the potential for more rain, which you all have been talking about all morning.
Houston, I think you're going to have a problem. The eye is going to hit a little bit south of Port Lavaca, which means that you're probably going to get the worst of it. And the scariest thing that I'm noticing here is that it's having beeline drag effect, which is something I just made up. But if you'll notice, if you see here, I'll use hot pink because it gets my attention. The night that Dallas flooded real bad, it was like a straight beeline to where it was like a snake slithering right over Dallas for like 8 hours. And it looks like this storm is going to have some of those properties where when the storm drags up, look how long it is. That's, I'm guessing, about 80 miles. That whole storm is like 80 miles, man. So you're going to get 80 miles of rain. See what I'm saying? So it looks like it is just going to drag straight up you, baby. Look at that. That's not good. I may be being whimsical, but I've been covering the story for like 5 days. And so, trying to keep our spirits up, people. All right? If you want to get upset about that, I understand. These are tense times for all of us, and we all deal with the stress in different ways. So, deal how you want to deal. I shall say my prayers for you either way. God bless everybody, and God bless Texas.
Another system coming out of the northern plains will add moisture, and so the siege of rain continues for much of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and parts of the mid-Atlantic states.
So this is not some new fancy polar vortex term. This actually has science behind it.
CenterPoint Energy reporting more than 2,800 power outages already across Houston. Numbers steadily climbing. Houston's Emergency Operations Center elevating activation. Dallas is ready to activate its Emergency Ops Center today. School districts from Galveston to Houston canceling classes. All Houston community college facilities, Houston schools, and authorities deploying dump trucks around Bolivar Peninsula. Trucks there will serve as emergency vehicles when the water starts running too high for ambulances and emergency service vehicles.
And that just adds to the flood threat, which I want people to really be concerned about.